want it?
Now.
What do you want?
Contract.
When do you want it?
Now. Herald-Leader ain't no health leader. Herald-Leader ain't no health leader.
Herald-Leader?
Get with it.
Herald-Leader?
Get with it.
Everywhere we go, people want to know who we are. So we tell them we are the union, the mighty union.
And let me assure you that your fight is our fight, that your fight is the same fight. We're fighting all around this Commonwealth and country for fair health care, for working families, for decent wages and for decent jobs. The same message, the same story, corporate greed all over again. Whether it's a newspaper or a hospital chain, the same story, corporate greed, CEO rip-off, $60 million for their executives, and crumbs for workers. We're sick and tired of it. We're going to stand together and fight back against corporate greed in newspaper and in the hospital chains that we're witnessing right now across this state. And we're here to fight with you, and together we will win, together we will succeed.
Herald-Leader?
Get with it.
Herald-Leader?
Get with it. All right. Okay, I came all the way from Washington to be here in Lexington because this issue of sick leave and health care is an important issue not just to the Newspaper Guild and not just to the CWA, but to workers all across this country. The struggle that we're having here with this multi-million-dollar corporation, McClatchy, is the struggle we get what we need here for fairness for the workers of the Herald-Leader. Now, some of you know that I used to work at the Lexington Herald-Leader a long time ago. And in fact, I used to work in the newsroom at the Lexington Herald-Leader a long time ago. And a lot of things have changed here. But what hasn't changed is the sense of fairness that the people of Central Kentucky know in their hearts is right. And what's right here is to have sick leave for everyone and to have health care for everyone, no matter what your circumstances are. Health care does not pick and choose between whether you work full-time or part-time. When your children get sick, when you get sick, you need health care and you need sick leave, and you need to be able to count on that and not have that changed and have the rug pulled out from under you just at a time when you need it the most.
Right.
So that's why I'm here today. That's why all the members of the Newspaper Guild and the CWA are standing here with you today, and that's why we'll win. Okay, so now we want to send a message to the Herald-Leader loud and clear. Let them hear you. What matters here? What do we want? Fairness. And when do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Fairness.
And when do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Fairness.
And when do we want it?
Now.
McClatchy?
Get with it.
McClatchy?
Get with it.
McClatchy?
Get with it.
McClatchy?
McClatchy is demanded to have the right to gut sick leave for newsroom workers. And worst of all, it wants the right to eliminate health benefits for part-time workers. Folks, we're talking about people who have families right here in Kentucky. We're talking with the sick leave, we're talking about folks who need to go home because they're injured, can't work. We're talking about folks who need to go home, take care of sick children. There's also going to be some people who say that, why are we doing this? Why are we standing up for our benefits? Don't you know the newspapers are dying? Well, that reminds me of a quote from the late great Texan Molly Ivins. She said, quote, "I don't so much mind that newspapers are dying, it's watching them commit suicide that pisses me off." Folks have predicted the demise of the newspaper industry for a long time. But folks, let me assure you that radio will not kill newspapers. Television is not going to kill newspapers. The internet is not going to kill newspapers. There's only one thing that can kill newspapers. You know what that is?
Newspapers.
Greed. And today, all of us, we're standing up to that greed. And we're telling them that here in Kentucky, we treat people with fairness and respect. Together, we're going to do what's right for families here in Kentucky, and we're going to send a message to McClatchy to stop its California scheming and to keep its promises.
Now, for the folks from California to tell you that the families here with running around with little children, some of them in those knapsacks and some of them walking holding picket signs, I don't know about you all, but it almost seems like that's a crime to take away health care from families that are working hard and contributing to Central Kentucky, but are not going to be able to take their children to see the pediatrician because the health care has been cut off.
Right, yes.
You know, when you slice it, when you look at it like that, there's no way that they can say that it is fair to do what they're asking you all to do.
I'm one of the people that will be affected if they take benefits away. I've got 3 kids. That little one right there is one of them. I'm the benefits provider for my family. My husband works for a small company, not great benefits. And I also have a daughter with significant health problems. And, you know, if they take my health care away, you know, it would just be, you know, insurmountable medical bills for my family, unimaginable stress for all of us. But, you know, I just think that newspapers are poised to be progressive and set the standards for, you know, business. And they don't seem to be doing a very good job of it. They're eliminating flexibility. They're, you know, taking away the basic, you know, health care from employees. And, you know, it could hurt all of us tremendously. And it's, you know, it's life-changing what they are wanting to do to us. And I just think it's worth the fight to, you know, keep them in line and keep them accountable.
Right on.
Yes.
Thank you. That was good.
Good afternoon, Mike Garkovich, CWA. When I'm done, Linda has suggested we end the rally by marching down towards the Herald-Leader to make sure they know we're here. But I want to tell you, just like Bill Londrigan from the AFL-CIO said, your fight is our fight. We fight together. We stand together or we fall alone. We must stand together. Healthcare is important. Like Linda said, we draw the line here. The Herald-Leader is not a leader. Thank you very much.